Hi, nobodies. So it is another gorgeous, wonderful day in Arkansas. Um, I really can't complain. I am having, aside from the stuff going on in the world, I am having a good time. I mean, like, there are things I would be doing if not for this, but for the most part, nothing's changed here. I just can't really go anywhere. Like, I want to go to Missouri, but I can't go to Missouri right now because my aunt said that they've said no leisure travel in Arkansas. So I was like, ugh, that sucks. So I'm adhering to this social distancing, and it's difficult sometimes. The one way aisles in the grocery store, people being overly paranoid, or and there's just so much about it's mainly with other people. And then I see on the internet that there's people up in Michigan protesting. And I shared that on my Facebook page, and my friend Sylvia says they should be arrested, quarantined. And I was like, yeah, totally. I mean, that is a danger to the national health. You know, they are putting lives at risk. Now, I could care less if it was just theirs. Fine, you want to go out there and risk your life? Go right ahead. The problem is that they're going home and they're around other people. And then they're spreading this shit. My friend Sylvia has health problems. And I'm sure of those at least 50 people that were there, they know a Sylvia. Somebody who has to be careful because they're not super healthy. And even, like, how do you know you're super healthy? A lot of these people dying, they've said, oh, they had underlying conditions that they didn't know about. That's right, they didn't know about it. So, like I said, these people, if they want to go out and do that, if they live by themselves out in the middle of freaking woods and shit, let them congregate, let them get sick, let them die off. But the problem is, they don't. They ride the subways, they ride the bus, they drive their cars, they shop in Walmart, they go to Dollar General, they go to church, they go to the hospital, they go places. And they're out there together. Out of those 50 people, one of them having the virus can spread it to at least one person. Because you can't tell me those people aren't, if they're going to do that, they're probably shaking hands, and they weren't wearing masks either. So, they're a danger to public health. I was watching this poor woman in New York City telling a story about her sister dying. And she said her sister's been sick for a week and a half. Her sister went to the hospital 3 times. The first time they said she had bronchitis, didn't test for COVID. The second time she went, they said you have pneumonia, didn't test for COVID. The third time, after she was on a ventilator, they tested her. They tested her 3 hours before she died, this lady said. This woman was allowed to walk around Manhattan and New York, and be around her family, which I think is a pretty substantial amount of people, because there was this lady, she said she had to take her 11-year-old niece through the subway and to the Bronx, and then they threw her niece into like a quarantine tent or out in the cold to get tested. I think they said they tested her or they didn't test her. I don't know. They said she had to self-quarantine. This lady couldn't take in her niece because she's got daughters. She's got a husband that's on heart failure. So real dangerous for him. So this little girl who's just lost her mom is having to self-quarantine with her siblings and their kids. And they could have tested her. They should have tested the mom when she came in and they said, "You've got bronchitis." And this lady, I don't know if I fully agreed with her on it being a black thing, that the world is racist and stuff, but I do believe that the 99% are not getting treated very well. And they're not wanting to spend money on us. There's a certain thing. Like, no matter what your social class is, no matter where you sit in your social class, there's always going to be what you call the dregs of society. A certain group, and it doesn't always have to do with race. Sometimes it just has to do with, drug addicts or prostitutes or criminals. Now, the higher up you go on the food chain, it has to do with money. The dregs of society are the ones who don't have money. So not having money is not just a black thing. Everybody's included. All races are included in the poor. Our working poor, which are continuing to work because they're essential, and they're not being given what they deserve. They're putting their lives at risk every day for a paycheck. And then people want to sit there and go, "I guess he's not your president since you got that stimulus money." This ain't his fucking money. If he was writing out $1,200 checks for people, like out of his own pocket, then maybe I'd like him a little bit more. But he's giving me money that I've paid in, that everybody pays in. When you pay your taxes, when you look on your paycheck and you see that big chunk for FICA, that's your fucking money. He's just giving you back some of your money. That does not make him my friend. That makes him somebody that I loaned some cash to, and he's just finally getting it back to me. And in all honesty, you talk to the non-essentials who live paycheck to paycheck that are going to lose their home. That $1,200 or $2,400 if they're a couple is not going to save them. It is a slap in the face. And when you look at what these other countries that are not as rich, like he wants us to feel the way, like, you talk to a lot of people in America and they'll say, America's the richest country in the world. No, America is not the richest country in the world. Not by a long shot. The money we have belongs to other countries, like Saudi Arabia and Dubai. Which is Dubai a country or is that a city? I don't know. I just know Dubai is rich as fuck. If Saudi Arabia pulls their money out of our banks, America goes bankrupt. Plain and simple. This is why Bush did not make Osama bin Laden's family stay. You don't want to piss off the Saudis. They got a lot of money here. And if it didn't cripple us, if it didn't completely ruin us, it would hurt us badly if they pulled their money. So his $1,200, it didn't come out of his pocket. He didn't pull it from thin air. It was there. And He's not doing near as much for us as Canada's doing for their people. You look all over the world at the countries that are not as good as America. They're doing well for their non-essential workers. You know, our people are still struggling. And yeah, that $1,200 stimulus check to them, to people who don't have much anyway, it is great. It is woohoo. But it's not what's needed. And when I see these people congregating like that, I'm like, okay, there's 2 more weeks. I got to stay at home. There's 2 more weeks. My favorite shops are closed down. There's 2 more weeks that we get to watch numbers rise. That we can't go visit friends and family. That we have to worry about taking our kids places. Because you should be worried about taking your kids anywhere. Because I'll tell you what, when it's cold and flu season in general, if my kid just needs a checkup, I don't want to take them to the doctor's office. Because I'm like, man, there's people there with like colds and shit. You're seeing like all these kids with their runny fucking noses. And I'm like, man, I don't want to take my kid down there. You know, if my kid's sick, yeah, I'm fine with it. But if they're not sick, if they're just there for a checkup or to get a vaccine or a shot or whatever, I don't want to take them where there's sick people. You know, so erring on the side of caution, I don't want to take my kids out to Walmart where they'll be exposed. They are safer at home. Everybody is safer at home. And when I go into a place and I see people together, they're not wearing masks, they're not maintaining social distance, you know, and then you got the other sect that is like, no, you're too close. And it's like, man, there's like a good 20 feet between you and me, and you're telling me I'm too close to you, and you ain't even got a fucking mask on. And I've got a mask on. What the fuck? You know, I'm tired of this shit. The social distancing does not bother me so much as the people who are freaking out about it. So when I see somebody thumb their nose at it, it pisses me off, because that's longer that I got to deal with people flipping the fuck out. Now, granted, those of us who are paying attention know that things are not going to go back to normal. But once the threat has passed, a lot of these ultra paranoids, they're going to be like, oh, okay, we're all clear. Because they're idiots. You know, I mean, you're not even wearing a fucking mask. And you wouldn't, and you're 20 feet away from me and you're worried. You know, like, you are not a bright penny. Not a sharp tool. You are a tool, though. But I want this stuff to be over as soon as possible. And that is not going to happen with people still getting together like that, and hospitals not testing. And whether that's the government's job, you know, whether it's state, federal, whatever, the hospitals need to be testing. If you come in with cold symptoms, they need to be testing you. And if you have COVID, they need to have something set up for you. You know, have the state commandeer a hotel to house these people for 2 weeks so they can be away from their family, but they can still get on the phone and call people. They can still have their cell phone. They can still survive, and they're not infecting anybody else. Don't send them home to self-quarantine, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, take care of them. And we really do need to, I would not have a single bit of problem if I saw that these people were getting involuntary quarantined. If they were getting arrested. You know, because that is part of the problem. That is how new cases are coming up, is people not following the rules. And they aren't asking much of us. They're not really. I mean, they've already like tried their best without saying, you are going to be on lockdown. You cannot leave your house. And with shit like that going on, I don't think we're too far from them saying that. From them saying, in your house. They're handling this poorly. And, you know, they need to get on the same page. The health professionals, the state government, the federal government, they all need to be on the same page, and they need to make sure that the American public is well informed on how to keep themselves safe. And if somebody is not adhering to the rules, that person needs to catch a charge. Now, I'm not saying they need to go to prison, but we're talking about you get to sit in quarantine for 2 weeks and you pay a fine. You know, watch how quick people decide they ain't gonna do the shit when they realize it's gonna cost them like $1,000 and they gotta sit in quarantine for 2 weeks. They're not gonna break the rules too often, you know. But that's what's gonna have to happen. Otherwise, we are going to see some really bad stuff. And if they have to put us on lockdown, you can bet your ass they're going to make us take a vaccine when they create one. And who the fuck knows what that's going to do? If it'll even help. You know, I mean, I don't want to see that happen. So, aside from that, it's been a rather wonderful day. I hope that you're having a good day. If you're not, every moment is an opportunity to turn things around. I am just patiently waiting for this thing to be over. I've got other places to be. And the sooner people start acting right and acting like they got some fucking sense, the sooner I'll be able to do what I want to do. And be extra brilliantly happy. Because as much as I love here, there's somewhere else I'd rather be. So, have a great day. Do your best to not let this shit get you down. You know, learn a hobby. YouTube is full of videos that can teach you how to make friendship bracelets or how to whittle or whatever. You know, you can work on your car. There's a lot of like cars that need work. Maybe your house needs some work. Maybe there's some shit you need to get done. Landscaping, gardening. You know, grow yourself a couple of little pot plants. You know, do something. Do something so that you can say that, you know, you took a break and you found something that you enjoy. You know, give everything a shot, you know. Sorry, I had a thought about something I saw. So, anyway, have a great day. Bye.